Tough, tough.
No more.
This is label. Yeah, it's on.
I can't do nothing.
Tough. Kind of low.
No, it's not. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, talking about
Tough. Tough. Touch the 1-2. Touch the 1-2.
is it working?
It's low. I don't know.
You gotta fix it.
Tough. I don't know where the mic is at.
Mike.
It's located somewhere. I think we got it set.
Okay, is not it there? Shit, you know more than me. Yeah, I war.
So it sound good on yours. Huh?
But
It might be alright.
turn it up all the way.
Yeah, so
Shit, delay.
yeah, it is. Both of you know.
Is it always a delay?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and what you do. Go over there with it and go ahead and work on it while I teach the class.
Yeah.
In the meantime, just make sure I got enough because my phone is dying. Yeah, you can sit right there. So, Salakia, Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah, Yahweh Shema, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. Salakia to the, people have some technical difficulties here. Ain't no sweat, we're back on track. Um, hopefully Kiyata War, the technician of this computer thing can get it working back exactly how we need it. So, a little thing that I'm gonna be going over today is, today, once again, it is a law class. We're gonna go ahead and be discussing, give me the book of, well, I got it. I'm gonna get Deuteronomy 28th chapter. Book of Deuteronomy 28th chapter. Okay, you got it. The book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, 28 verse 1. So, like, that's, that's what we have in, like, with everything going on, man, like, whatever the turmoil is going on in the earth, man, like, with the Palestinians fighting and the other nations, this world, this earth is rising up against itself. And the world, it's like this is the end of the world. You know that movie, the movie War of the Worlds? Yeah. This is it. We're living in the war of the worlds right now. Everybody's fighting for power and everybody's fighting for control. This turmoil, give me Solomon, give me Ecclesiasticus. I look for it. Give me no, Ecclesiasticus 1 and 9. I should have. Give me Ecclesiasticus 1 and 9. Because right now we're living in a time where it's nothing but turmoil, nothing but you know uh, travail and pain and suffering. That's a time that we're living in, and that's a time that the Lord chose to for you to live in. So this is the time we live in right now. There ain't no time of peace right now. There ain't no time of calm and everybody's getting along and the world is in peace. It's not that time right now. So this, but there is something that the people that the Lord chose to be the next rulers of the earth. He chose He chose them for the future rulership, and it's one thing that we should go back to doing again. It's a thing that when we rule, it will be a time of peace. But right now, it's a time of give me a scripture.
Come, the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 1, and verse 9. He created her and saw her and numbered her and poured her out upon all his work. Verse 10. She is with all flesh according to his gift.
Now, find me where it says there is nothing new under the sun. It's right there.
Oh, Salah.
It's right there. No, I meant the other one. Yeah, Ecclesiastes. So Lakia. You thought I said Ecclesiasticus. No, book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. So Lakia, that was my mistake. But, right now, the time that we're living, man, no, not right now. So, it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better until black and Hispanic people rule. It's not going to get better until the rulership is in the rightful hands of the children of the Most High. Right, so right now, it's about the climax to the fullest. Where it ain't quite there yet. You know what I'm saying? When you think the end is near, it ain't quite the end. Read on.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 9. The thing that has been, it is that which shall be.
And the thing that has been, it is that which shall be. And in the past, there's been times like this before. There's been times that have escalated to a situation where the Lord has destroyed the earth or destroyed the land. And it was climaxing to that time. Something was going on in the earth. It was warfare, famine, pestilence, or some atrocious situation that the Lord caused because of the sins of the people. And most importantly, because the people that were supposed to rule decided to be disobedient to the Lord. So he had to bring punishment and judgment to those people. And something has always happened where it's nothing new. Like what's happening now has happened before, but it's just now at a whole different scale,
And that which is done is that which shall be done.
And that which is done is going to be done. So like right now, like in the past, the Lord decided to destroy certain lands, and He destroyed the earth before, like in the time of Noah. In the time of Noah, the wickedness that was going on in the earth, the Lord was warning Noah, and He warned Noah to warn other people. He warned Noah to build an ark because judgment was coming upon the earth.
Right.
And Noah was obedient. He obeyed. He obeyed the Lord. Give me Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. He obeyed, man. He obeyed the voice of the Lord. He obeyed his law, his statute. He obeyed what the Lord commanded. And that's how Noah was able to reach salvation. And it's just as simple as that. See, we Black and Hispanics and Native American Indians, we already so destroyed. We don't have time to look at what's the turmoil. It shouldn't even scare us if we was in the right spirit. If it was in the right spirit, we wouldn't be worried about, the Palestinians and the so-called Israelis fighting. We shouldn't even be worried about that because our oppression has been, continuously since the oppressor, decided to be wicked and conquer and mischievous and be a devil and lie and deceive and murder and rob. Since then, it's been a continuous oppression for us.
Right.
We've been oppressed for more than 400 years, man. Yeah, white supremacy, whitewashing, murder, drugs, kids on the border, the so-called reservations, oppression continuously, man. Our people don't wake up. I said, why do you think our people always? Why do you think we always like? If you ever notice Black and Hispanic, we always talk about how hard we had. Yeah, ain't that like you had a war? It's like, man, yeah, we had it hard. Or we grew up tough, or we grew up in a, like this and like we never say, well, then how? When did we have it good? When are we gonna have it good? When are we gonna not say, "Damn, man, I grew up, having to pour water in the cereal every once in a while, eating fried bologna, like we, but we overcome those things, and in the future, when we think we have a little something, then it seems to us like, okay, that was tough, but we survived. But we still talk about that, like, okay, that's the only thing that we ever had oppression and depression and survival and struggle and the struggle and the struggle. And that life is about warfare.
Right.
But one day it'll be a time of peace. One day it'll be a time where we won't say things like that. When we will say, man, we always had it good. For our children in the future, because of what the UPK is doing and what the Lord is doing in the earth, one day Black and Hispanic kids won't know what it is to say, oh man, I ate from bologna sandwiches or a tomato. Or not, I mean, I'm not saying that those things are good, or because hey, I think I like eating, a mayonnaise and tomato sandwich, but not I wouldn't do it because I had no choice. I would like to do it because I had a choice. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I just want to eat a tomato and mayonnaise sandwich because I just got a taste for it, not because I was forced for it. You understand what I'm saying? Give me that scripture. What did I ask for?
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass,
Uh-huh.
if thou shalt hearken diligently.
And now the Lord said it shall come to pass and we shall hearken diligently, man. Because see, what our forefathers did is they didn't hearken diligently. When they was going to have it good, they decided to not have it. Like the Lord brought us out of Egypt, showed us all these miracles, man, fed us manna from heaven, opened up the Red Sea, took us out of captivity under the oppression of the Egyptians, and our forefathers still decided that that wasn't good enough. That they wanted to struggle. Like you ever grew up and your parents said, man, you got it good here. You got lights, so you got water, you got clothes. What are you looking for out there in the streets? Why are you trying to hang out with those, why are you trying to hang out in the streets and be like, run the streets and you think you're gonna have it better just because you don't and what is the reason we left? Some of us disobeyed our parents and left at home. What do you think was one of the reasons that we just wanted to leave our parents home because of what? Because we just wanted to be disobedient. We didn't want to hear. We didn't want to hear our parents say, "Hey man, I want you back at what time? I want you back here in the house by if you live in my house, then you got to be you got a curfew. You got to be in my house at a certain time." Like we didn't want to listen to that. No, you can't bring just any friend over. No, you gotta obey these rules. So we didn't want to listen to that. So some of our parents said, "Well, all right, go ahead and go do what you want. Go ahead and do what you want to do. Leave the house." Then you realize when you go out the house that it's not. It's nothing like. There's nothing like home. There's nothing like being obedient to your parents. And enjoying the comfort of obedience, man. The comfort of having a bed to sleep on, a roof over your head, a light for you to read or whatever, water for you to bathe. It's nothing better than that. But some of us are just got stiff necked and disobedient. It's the same thing with the Most High. He's a father. He's a father figure, and he told the children of Israel that if they hearken diligently, something would happen. It would be something they would have comfort.
I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Just tell them to go ahead and get it. Just tell them to
Go ahead and get it.
Yeah. Go ahead and get it. Tell them to go ahead and get it. And make it back. Go ahead and read that.
Salaki. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, and to observe and to do all his commandments.
To what?
To observe and to do all his commandments.
Just like when your parents said, man, listen, as long as you live in my house, you can't smoke no weed in the house. You can't bring no drugs in the house. You can't just bring any old girlfriend in the house. And you can't just sneak out of the house anytime you want to sneak out of the house. You can't come back in the house whenever you want to come back in the house. You got to clean up your room. You got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to cut the yard. All those things are rules that some of our parents gave us. But some of us was like, man, hell no, I ain't listening to my mom or my dad. Some of these moms, if you grew up in a black and Hispanic family, you know that it's single parent homes for the most part. The majority. I can say the majority because hey, I seen it. Grew up in the ghetto. Grew up in the barrio. I seen that was that term. That term came from single mother home. Like I'm a mother and a father.
Right.
Like and so, on Mother's Day, on Father's Day, I'm a father too. And that's wrong, man. That's wrong that America even gave women that ideology. I mean, we see, Eve, once again, the serpent, the most subtle beast of the field, lied to our women, man.
Right.
Lied to our women, making them believe that, listen, you don't need a man, man. You do need a man. Right. You do need a man, but like I said, this is all because of disobedience, man. And right now, there's turmoil and war and pestilence and coronaviruses and believe me, more viruses will probably be around the corner, man. Like right now, you people thinking like, okay, you getting vaccinated, that's all good and dandy. The pressure eased off of us a little bit, but because of the wickedness, you see the wickedness in the earth. You think good things is gonna happen as long as people there's unrighteousness and injustice in the earth? Hell no, man. There's gonna be more suffering, more warfare. People, right? I mean, the governments and the powers of the earth, man, are fighting for supremacy, man. America wants to keep being on the top, man, and they support the Israelis, and they don't want to be. Man, them Israelis got some technology, man, all funded by America, giving them money. But that money, who do you think that money come from? It come from Black and Hispanic communities, man. It come from our spending power, man. So other nations get to have, missile launchers and, nuclear weapons. And where's Black and Hispanic nuclear weapons, man? Where's our military that says, okay, you kill one of ours, you know, there's gonna be, consequences. You remember when they killed that one reporter back in the day with Al Qaeda? You don't even hear about Al Qaeda no more, man. You don't even hear about the Taliban, man. You don't hear about the Taliban because America sent super snipers out there, man, super killers that went and killed 30, they was slaughtering these so-called terrorists by the hundreds in one sitting, man. Like America is a superpower. And they didn't forgive that. They didn't say we shall love everybody, we shall overcome. As Christian as godly and God we trust that this place claims to be, they don't forgive. They didn't forgive Osama bin Laden for the 9/11 thing. They never forgive him. Why they didn't say then? Why they didn't say then? No, let's love everybody, man. Forgive. Only when it comes to us. Only when it comes to us is always forgive. Then it's forgive. Okay, right. You got children on the border, you gotta forgive. You gotta lock them in the border, you gotta forgive them. You kill a brother, getting out of the car and you shoot him 9 times in the back, you gotta forgive him, man. What did that woman say in the court? She said, I forgive you. It's just a lot of forgiveness. We just know how to forgive. We don't know how to say, well, damn, how do we get justice? Right. How do Black and Hispanic, Native Indians get justice, man. How do we attain, some type of justice, man? We don't have to go kill nobody. We don't have to go.
Right.
We don't have to damn pick up no weapons. We don't have that's what the UPK is about. The UPK is not a. We don't support violence. We don't condone it, and we don't advocate it, man. We don't advocate brothers, going and forming militias to fight against the oppressor and kill their babies and murder their women. That's not what we do, man. If you read the history of the UPK, man, nowhere in the history of the UPK, One West, 1969, has that ever happened, man. Has anybody ever just, now there's we're not affiliated with nobody else, so whatever they do, that ain't on us. What we do is this. We decide to do this. We don't.
And it shall come to pass, thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments.
All his what?
All his commandments.
All his what?
All his commandments.
All his commandments, man. The Lord, listen, this is the God of the Bible we're talking about right here, man. The God of this book that a lot of us grew up in all our religious organizations, man. There's a bunch of them, man, claim to have, they claim to serve and worship the God of this Bible, man. And there's no secret interpretation of this. This says what again? If you should what?
Thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments.
All his commandments, man. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's spiritual, man. It's spiritual because I realize that, a lot of black and Hispanics, Native Indians, when they read this, they know deep down in their soul it's talking to them. And we think that we take this book as an individual thing because that's how we've been indoctrinated. To think that the Lord is our personal Lord and Savior, and then we have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ or God or whoever. And then we think that when we read this, it's about us as an individual. That's not what it is. It is speaking to us because we're the Lord's children. So when we read this, we're like, man, this is what God wants us to do. But we don't know that this is what God wants us to do. We thinking that, then you hear some of the other interpretations from Christian pastors and, Muslim mosques or whatever. But this book is speaking to us as a people.
Right.
Moses gave his commandments to a people, a nation. He didn't bring one individual out of Egypt. He didn't bring, just, a few. He brought a whole nation, man.
Right.
He brought it was millions of people, man. They walked through that wilderness, man. And he was talking to the nation and said, if you to do all his what?
All his commandments.
All his commandments, man. So by nature, we are meant to obey something. We're meant to be obedient to a power higher than us. But by also the Lord said we were stiff-necked people, man. That we would want to disobey. And he gave us his commandments so that we can do what?
Which I command thee this day, that the Most High thy power will set thee on high above all nations.
The what?
The Most High thy power.
The Most High our power, man. Our power means our God, man. The scriptures say that the Most High our power. Moses told the children of Israel that the Lord commanded them to be obedient to him. And he said, because he's the Most High our power. If we were obedient to him, we will be what?
Set thee on high above all nations.
Above what?
Above all nations.
Above some.
Above all nations.
Below some.
Above all nations.
Equal to.
Above all nations.
Above all nations, man. See, the problem with today's society is that the children of Israel don't rule and are not above all nations.
Right.
The problem with today's society is that the people that are not supposed to be ruling are ruling. Give me that scripture, give me Proverbs. Proverbs 9 and 20, 29 and 2, I think. I got it. Well, look for that.
In the righteous rule.
Right, in the righteous rule. You know what I want? Proverbs 29 and 2.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority.
When the who?
When the righteous are in authority.
When America.
When the righteous are in authority.
When the Palestinians.
When the righteous are in authority.
When the Israelis.
When the righteous are in authority.
When the Russians.
When the righteous are in authority.
When the British.
when the righteous are in authority,
when the Spaniards,
when the righteous are in authority,
when whoever else, those are not the righteous, man, because what? When the righteous are what?
When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
The who?
The people rejoice.
Listen, the scripture says when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, man. Now let me ask y'all a question out there. Are people rejoicing today? Is anybody rejoicing? I mean, and there's some, the people that are above you are rejoicing, but even them, they had to, they're always living at the edge. Like the oppressor lives at the edge every day, because it's like his economy is looking more volatile than ever. So there's a rich billionaire out there that's about to he's one dip away in the stock market to putting a rope around his neck. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And that's glorious in the Lord's eyes, right, man. Right. Because the oppressor has depended on and trusted in his money so long and his greed that right now, because he's so greedy, he set up a system where it's so easy to lose everything. Like the oppressor likes to gamble with everything, man. The oppressor likes to exploit everybody and everything so much that he doesn't care about tomorrow. That's why all the gold he retrieves all the gold from rivers and jungles and poisons the ecosystem. Now we have poison. Like if you go to Amazon, the Amazon in Brazil, you know how much ecosystems has been destroyed because of the greed of the oppressor on us. All the petroleum and all the pollution in the earth, and the animals aren't even rejoicing, man. Right. Animals are being listen. Since the oppressor's been ruling, we done had probably probably countless of animals been extinct. They don't exist no more on the earth, and you can't even bring them back. Like you can't bring them back. And no matter how hard you try, they're extinct. And the Caucasian people, they want to bring back the dinosaurs, man. They're trying to revive, ancient, ancient creatures that existed way before men. Like that, that's nonsense, man. But then, they're bringing them to oppress them. Listen, as fierce as T-Rex could be, and then how they painted a T-Rex to be in those movies, the Jurassic Park piano war, right? As fierce as those things could have possibly been in the earth before, when the Lord had them roaming the earth. That T-Rex don't want to come back. He don't want to come back. If he got to have so-called white people, experimenting on him, you think the T-Rex don't even want to come back, Keanu Wolf? That's how bad this vile beast is, man. That's how much more crueler he is. He like a T-Rex is ferocious, but the oppressor is even more. Right. Like a lion. You ever seen the oppressor like having little trophies of lion heads and stuff like that? Right. Like the lion is the king of the jungle, but he knows the feel of a white man that goes hunting for him for fun, for sport, for game. They call it game. Now, who in the black and Hispanic community even thinks like that, man? And we don't even think like that. Like we don't even think about going hunting, right. Like beautiful beasts that the Lord created for game, man. Right. Like who's the real beast in the earth, man? That's why even the animals don't, the creatures on the earth don't even rejoice, man. Marine biology, man. The fish is overfishing, man. Like killing whales and all kind of nonsense, man. You see it on the news all the time. It's nothing new. The nations don't know how to rule, man. The nations know how to be greedy, man, and exploit everything when there's no need for the explosions, man. There's no need to exploit nothing on the earth. There's plenty. The earth is plentiful, right. But just the wrong people are ruling, and they don't have no wisdom of how to rule and how to, be fruitful in this earth, man. We go. You good?
Book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority.
Because when the righteous are in authority,
the people rejoice.
People rejoice, man. When righteous people rule the earth, hey, man, people rejoice. When there's law and judgment, people are happy, man. When there's weight balance, when there's justice, like if there was, if righteous people ruled the earth, there would have been justice for Michael Brown.
Right.
Those families would have not been offered no money. It'd have been a justice system where that cop would have never got off, when that security would have never got off for his crime or for his hate crime. Because a lot of these are hate crimes. They're not even crimes, and we're gonna go into that. They're not even crimes um, done by real justified actions of these police. Like this police brutality is real. It's real that there is racist white police officers in America and in the whole earth that target a specific type of people and do it hatefully, man. And join those forces to do it is hate crimes, man, done against black and Hispanic people, man. Them immigration patrol, border patrol on the border, when they lock up children on the border, they do it with hate, man. They treat them like dogs. I know for a fact, because I know people that have had experiences that said that's how immigration border patrol treats treats you in the border. They tell you to drink from the water on the toilet seats, man. They tell you that if you're thirsty and you want to drink something, they say drink from the toilet, man. How inhumane and hateful is that? Because the righteous are not in authority, man.
That's right.
Because there was no justice for Trayvon Martin. There was no justice for, what's her name? Emmett Till. There was no justice for nobody, man. Nobody has received black and Hispanic people the Native Indians have received no justice.
Wow.
Giving them the worst land making a reservation. Listen, a reservation is a terrible place to live, man. There's nothing in the reservation, man. Nothing but drunkenness, drugs, heroin, meth, everything you find in the ghetto or in the barrio. You know what I'm saying? That's the reservation. There's nothing, the ghetto has nothing wonderful to talk about, man. We grew up there. We grew up in those harsh communities. You know about some ghettos in Greensboro if you have war. There's been some harsh ghettos in Greensboro, man. I grew up like anybody know about English Village? You, you know how terrible that was. You know how terrible that was growing up in English Village, Kiana War. You understand what I'm saying? Growing up in Smith Homes and all. Hold that door for me, man. Yeah. So listen, man, because that's all there is for black and Hispanic because of our disobedience, man. But it's time to become a righteous people so that we can rule and people can rejoice, man. People can rejoice at the compassion a black and Hispanic man is capable of having, man. You know how compassionate black and Hispanic people are? We're so compassionate, man.
Right.
Because we're the Lord's children, man.
Right.
Read on.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
When the righteous are in authority, the what?
The people rejoice.
The people rejoice. Read on.
But when the wicked beareth rule.
But when the who?
But when the wicked beareth rule.
When America.
When the wicked beareth rule.
When the British Empire.
When the wicked beareth rule.
The Roman Empire.
When the wicked beareth rule.
The Spanish Empire.
When the wicked beareth rule.
Every one of these kingdoms that have ruled over the decades and over the centuries and over, time periods in the earth, after black and Hispanic people ruled, when we decided to be disobedient, the earth has never been rejoicing.
Right.
When the Romans ruled, there was oppression against the black, the so-called real Jews in Jerusalem. They oppressed the whole, like how the oppressor conquers, man, is through bloodshed, man.
Right.
And bloodshed is not pretty. Bloodshed is just what it is. It's ugly. It's not pretty. It's not rejoicing. America went out there to the Middle East and set up shop in the Middle East, and they killed a lot of what they call insurgents, Kiana War, like little children in sandals, because they had bombs on them, and they were saying they was protecting their men. Well, hell, what people that have some type of dignity? I'm not listen, and I'm not empathizing with the heathens. We don't empathize with the heathens out here, man. Like, what? Like, we don't care about the heathens. We only care about black and Hispanic people. But anybody that even, like that has some type of fight in them, man, will fight against the rage, of the beast, man. We'll fight against against oppression, man. Anybody that has some type of say, man, listen, how we gonna let these people come and just think they can just control us? They're gonna. And listen, we're gonna strap bombs to us, and we're gonna. That's the only thing we can do. We can only strap bombs to ourselves, and hopefully we can kill as many of them as we can, because they over here killing us. Like I seen videos where U.S. Marines just were shooting at people for fun, man. Am I lying? Am I lying, Keanu War? Am I lying, Pelayan? That has that's look it up. I don't listen. Look up. Look up a Marine. Marines abusing power in Afghanistan, or you know committed murders against women and children. You'll find many cases, man. But because you live in a wicked society, man, this is the devil for your thought. Put so much stuff in your face that's entertaining and fun, you forget about that. You just hear about the only time, you having too much fun, you forget that children are getting bombed to piss, man.
Right.
You forget about that because you're over here having fun with drugs, with entertainment, all of that. The only time it affects you is when the coronavirus was here, and that was the Lord, man.
Right.
They had nothing to do with the white man, man, or anybody else. The Lord put a damn, he damn put a, he gave us a punch of reality, man. He gave us a taste of reality and said, listen, you'll think about what's going on now. And people now the president came out with the vaccine, and now everybody think it's about to be good, man. I got a vaccine. I got it. I went and got it. I had to, but listen. I fear the Lord, man.
Right.
I'm gonna fear the Lord. Period. Give me the beginning of wisdom. Go ahead, Elijah.
I was gonna say even in movies, there's some truth in it, but they used to always talk about in Vietnam it was killing a lot of women and babies and
Man,
children
listen.
and kids.
Yeah. Them. So lock it. So lock it. Listen to them funny guy, man. Um, you say it again?
I was saying that even dating back Vietnam, it was killing a lot of women and babies and children.
Yeah, man. Like them soldiers went out there and raped all the Vietnamese women, man. Like they went to villages. Them Vietnam soldiers went into some villages, man, that they went and ravaged and killed most of the men because the Vietnamese ain't had no war, like they ain't had no advanced technology, man. Like they so the only thing the only advantage that the Vietnamese had against the U.S. is that the U.S. didn't know that jungle like that. Go ahead.
It's a lot, the U.S. going to draw.
And they was getting high. The soldiers was getting high, man. They ain't know they left and they right, man. You can't go to war high, man. You just can't. And they ain't know those jungles. The Vietnamese jungles, they can be they can be harsh. Like if you don't know those jungles, you'll go in those jungles, man, and you'll have a damn a puma eat you. Like a anaconda, choke the living life out of you, man. So that's the only thing that the Vietnamese, that's the only advantage. That they knew the jungle better than the U.S. soldiers, and they was able to kill a whole lot of U.S. soldiers because like Keanu was saying, man, it was too high, man. It was getting high. There was all that dope and all that weed, all that pot. You can't listen, man. Like if you ever smoke weed in your life, I don't care what you say, you're messing up. You can't do things right. So the Lord don't want His people to be high. He wants a sober army, man. So, but they went in there and it was getting crazy, man. A bunch of sexual deviants went and raped a lot of the women in the Vietnam jungles, man. You don't think that happened? Rape them and then murder them, man. Go ahead.
It's a lot. Also, cats from the military tell you stories about how much they was raping.
Right.
The women there would they would have ways to defend it.
Right.
I heard they put like razors up in there.
Oh yeah, I heard those stories. Yeah, I heard those stories. They
run up in there.
Yeah, con, and that had to be like you had to be terribly terrified extremely terrified Salakia to want to put, razor sharp objects in your, you know what I'm saying? So that you can defend from being raped, man. Like that has to be a nightmare, man. Because of what? Because when the what?
When the wicked bear rule.
Because when the wicked bear rule,
the people mourn.
The people mourn, man. Them Vietnamese women were mourning, man. Let's not even talk about the murders Christopher Columbus when he landed on the island of Hispaniola, and found them Taino Indians, man, what he did to them. When he wrote in his memos, man, there's 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 memos of Christopher Columbus saying that these people were made to be slaves, man.
Right.
And they were so nice and so meek that they was good. They would make good slaves, man. They wouldn't put up no fight. Who that sound like? That sound like us.
Right.
That sound like us, man. That's how Christopher, and then he murdered them, millions of them, man. Started a whole campaign against them, man. Enslaved those Taino Indians, made them dig up gold and dig up silver, exploit them just like the oppressor does today, man.
Right.
Because they all know they father the devil, man.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like there's nothing new under the sun, man. We don't.
No, it's not.
You know that?
Beginning of wisdom.
Go ahead, give me the beginning of wisdom.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, and verse 10. The fear of the Most High.
The what?
The fear of the Most High.
And once again, man, right now, everybody was afraid of that coronavirus, man. Everybody was afraid of coronavirus. They was afraid of the coronavirus, and then they was afraid of the vaccine. And you know what I'm saying? But, the curious thing about black and Hispanic people is, man, we're afraid of vaccines, but we ain't afraid of them smoking those cigarettes.
Right.
Like, a lot of these people that say they wouldn't get the vaccine smoke packs of cigarettes every day. Like, I ain't getting the vaccine. The government wants to control me. The government already controls you, fool. He controls you when you hit that, and that cancer is going in your lungs, so he can have you in those hospitals. You already controlled, man, because you fear the wrong things, man. You fear the wrong things. You have no wisdom, and the earth has no wisdom at all. That's why they don't know how to resolve these conflicts going on. Nobody knows, like nobody has an answer for world hunger. Nobody has an answer for third world country disease. I mean, not diseases, but how the earth is set up, and how come nobody can get rid of even them little stinking Africans, little babies that are that are out there suffering. Even those are going to be happy when we rule.
Right.
But because the earth is ruled by wicked people, by the wicked, by the unrighteous, they gotta have flies. They gotta suffer like that. Like not that we empathize with them, because we got black people and Hispanic people and the people in the ghetto suffering like that too. But because the people that don't have no wisdom rule, and then as a people we follow after them, we have no wisdom also. We afraid of vaccine shots. We afraid of the government controlling us, but we're not afraid of picking up those cigarettes and getting high. We ain't afraid of that. Oh man, the weed is from the earth, but then we roll it up in cigars that come from those you know what I'm talking about, Palaya? Those cigarillos or whatever they call them, the tobacco leaves full of chemicals. Like nobody's afraid of that. Right. Then when you have a chronic cough, you've been coughing up your lungs, and, oh yeah, it's from the earth. Like you coughing off a lung, man, a whole piece of lung coming out of your mouth. Talking about it's from the earth. Weed makes me think better. I get enlightened. Go ahead.
I remember when COVID, when it first hit, when the pandemic first hit, I would be places and I would still see things that I would recognize in the world. So I remember seeing, how you be in gas stations, you would see like a hand-to-hand about to take place. You be like, interesting.
Right.
First they had a mask on, they scared of the COVID. Mm-hmm. But then they jumping in the car and about to buy some trees that they don't know where you can.
Right.
They don't know the person.
No,
they don't know.
Right. Man, we buy weed without fear. Like we buy weed without fear, man. Like you never ask a weed man, well, is that organic? Is that non-GMO? You know, is that natural? Like, is that did they grow that in the in the UV lights? Or where they grow it at? In the earth, real earth? Did they use chemicals to? We never asked the weed man that. Right. I ain't Salaki, not me, but the old me never asked where the weed came from. Right. Hell, if somebody said, "Well, you want to hit this?" You like they could have spiked it with angel dust, man. But you know it was weed. You never said, "Man, what's in it?" Like, all right, hell yeah. Be passing like you think of how disgusting it was when you smoke, man. Smoke marijuana or any drugs. You know, or anybody that's a drug addict in anything, like what do you think brothers was dying when they was in the heroin epidemic back in the day? They was dying of AIDS. Some of them weren't dying from the overdose. They were dying from catching HIV because they were sharing needles. Right. Nobody's scared of sharing no needles. Right. Hell no, I'm trying to get high. I'm trying to be as high as a kite. Yeah, give me that needle. That same thing with the weed, man. Nobody you never ask, man. You never ask, what's in it, or what your mouth been. Right. Or you might have, if you did, you was kind of joking because you didn't care. Like, yeah, I hit it. I hit that. That's a lot of it. Yeah, the weed to kill it. Hell, you see the wisdom that we have as a people, man. We have none because we fear the wrong things, man. Right. We fear the wrong things. So there's no wisdom as a people, you know. As Black, Hispanic, and Individuals, we don't have that wisdom anymore because our power is not who we fear. We don't fear the Lord, man. We fear the oppressor. We fear we fear. Listen, like you ever been pulled over by a cop ever been behind you, man? Not here in the UPK, but I know, hell, I know people in the world like even if you're a guy, even if you're legit, even if you got your license, your registration, you got all kind of there's no record in your and you have no criminal record. Even like if you're Black and Hispanic, and if a cop pull by you, you automatically afraid and in your best behavior. Why is that, man? Because we fear our oppressor. Right. We don't fear the Lord, but we fear the people that rule over us. Right. So we know that they're weak. They're such a savage people. I mean, such a beastly people, man. Like them cops, man. We're afraid of them cops, man. But we ain't listen. We be afraid of the cops, but we still roll in the car with the weed and dinner. Like you know how many times cats was like getting caught. And oh man, them cops, man, they keep like being afraid of the cops. You remember them days you got a war? But why the hell you riding with the weed in your car? Because you ain't afraid of that. You usually, but when the oppressor come around, you're afraid of that. But you're not, listen, not getting high is a law. That's right. It's a commandment. That's right. Not using drugs is a commandment, man. Being sober minded is a commandment. That's right. If we knew these things, listen, man. What drugs? Right. Pull me over. No fear, man. Brothers in the UPK get pulled over. It's no fear. Right. Go ahead, Alex.
It's like, so I don't know, remember. I'm sure you do remember we got pulled over on the highway. God. State troopers.
I remember.
He was scared of us. You know what I'm saying? He was a little nervous.
Why do you think I'm saying it? I'm saying it because there's been plenty of times the brothers in UPK get pulled over, and you let them. You hear no incidents, man. Like the brothers and sisters that get in a conflict with the cops, or they get in a confrontation with police and get shot, is because they're afraid and they don't know how to act. Right. And so afraid, the only reaction they have is, "Why are you pulling me over? What right do you have?" Because for the most part, I see it. For the most part, you do have something illegal in that car. You understand what I'm saying? For the most part, you do. I'm not saying all of them, but you know that you know that you're not like as a people. We know some of us ain't right. We're not we're not walking in the straight line as say whether it's morally, whether it's whatever. We know something's out to get us. We know that the Lord is out to get us, man. So we know that that's the punishment from the Lord for the most consciously or unconsciously. We know. So we're afraid. We're afraid of that cop because we know that he's going to lock us up. But when you walking in the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, and you keeping all the laws, and listen, listen, pull me over. Go ahead, Al.
I remember, like you said, not we don't have that fear in the UPK. I remember class, I think, General Hyman said, when they were going over somebody that got pulled over and they got scared and started shooting or something like that, and you could just tell in your mind that they were just scared. He said, you go to jail like you've been there before.
Right.
General Hyman said, you go to jail like you've
Right.
been there before.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, con.
You're
So
afraid of jail.
you're afraid of jail, man. You say what?
Saying we not afraid of jail.
No, man.
General Hyman said, you go to jail like
Yeah, say that's the attitude.
Right.
That's the attitude, man. Like if because once again, and I was telling this to even my son, man. I said because it's I'm going to sidebar a little bit. Once again, it's about fearing the wrong things. He was telling me that um, somebody close to him was saying that he was because he asked me like, you think that and he asked me, I don't know why because he started to understand things. So he said, no, I'll do it. He said, do you think the mark of the beast has got something to do with the vaccine? I said, no. I told him and I explained to him I broke down the whole scripture of the mark of the beast, right? I said, man, no, the mark of the beast it's not no vaccine, it's not no microchip. Like, why are we afraid of a microchip or of any type of vaccine? Like, we thinking that that's the mark of the beast and we're not going to go to heaven. That we're not going to be saved if we take the vaccine. People really made little memes and people really believe that if they take the vaccine, now they got the mark of the beast. That's a real belief. People believe that. They say, no, because, you can't get into heaven like that. Brother, like, how dumb is that, man?
Right.
I didn't, the way I told him and I explained to him the breakdown of the mark of the beast and what it is to have, the mark in your head and in your hands. And like, you gotta look at the breakdown from General Hyman. And I'm gonna briefly talk about it. Like, the mark of the beast is in your thoughts. So if you are a part of this society's ideologies and philosophies and religions, you have the mark of the beast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you act out on those things, like if you want to become a greedy billionaire and oppress anybody you know because America is a capitalist nation and you do whatever like America is like 50 Cent and get rich or die trying, that's America. By any means, that's America.
Right.
Like that's the mark of the beast because your work will be dedicated solely for your own greed and to hurt people around you. That's so I'm explaining this thing to him, and I said, listen. So now you're growing up, so I'm not gonna put you against that person, and I'm not gonna put you decide what makes more sense than the mark of the beast is. Because if you are walking in God's laws and all righteousness, why would you fear a microchip?
Right.
Because if you're pleasing the Most High by keeping His commandments, like there's no fear. There is no fear.
Right.
There's no fear in you. Mm-hmm. And I said, so you decide what makes more. What do you think makes more sense? And he was like, yeah, you're right. So saying that is that we are afraid of the wrong things when we should be fearing the Lord.
Right.
We don't.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom, man. That's where wisdom comes from. That's where true wisdom comes from, man. Fearing the Lord. And you can't just say, yeah, I only feel like, you can't just say that like, the only man I fear is God, or the only person I fear is God. You don't fear nothing, man. You don't fear no type of righteousness. You just fear your oppressor. You fear master. You don't fear God. If you fear God, we fear God as a people, then we would be doing things that God commanded us to do.
That's right.
And then we will be ruling the earth in the wisdom of the Most High. Because you know what? Things like AIDS wouldn't exist. Things like coronavirus wouldn't exist. Things like once again, like the scriptures say, was when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. You think about those Palestinian children getting bombed in pits are rejoicing right now? That wouldn't happen in our clock. When we rule under the Most High in Christ, that would not be happening.
Right.
No, like it's like okay, it's like you ever like think about a bigger person. They see two young young children fighting or something like that. And you say, hey, both of y'all don't stop. I'm gonna chastise both of y'all. That's how it would be.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like if black and Hispanic people rule, these nations wouldn't fight each other like that and create all kind of atrocious things to each other. Because we would put an end. We would nip that in the bud, man. Give me Give me the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and 6.
Okay.
Give me the book of Deuteronomy. Go ahead, read on.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. And the knowledge of the holy is understanding.
And the what?
And the knowledge of the holy is understanding.
And the knowledge of the holy is understanding, man. Listen, when you have the knowledge of the Most High, you're separate from the rest. It's just like the whole God is holy because the Lord don't sin. The Lord is perfect. The Lord does not accept unrighteousness. So he's perfect and holy. And if we understand that, then all type of instruction and all type of problems will be, solved immediately. Like there will be no problem too big for us to solve. Like we won't have the answer for world. There is the law tells you how to. There's a law in there that it's a brotherhood law where if you grow a certain amount of crop and when you harvest that crop, you don't take the whole crop. You leave some crop for the poor.
Right.
That's what you stop at world hunger right there.
Right.
Right there, that law itself stops hunger right there. Or when your brother is in debt, that you don't, that you don't, pray like if he's in debt for a reason, or but it's all vice versa. Everything, all righteousness is a two-way street. Like you don't oppress somebody because you don't become oppressor to somebody if they owe you money. Like if your brother owes you money, he's waxing poor. You forgive him or you forgive that debt or let him work it off in a way. You understand what I'm saying? You don't lock him up and mistreat him.
Right.
And then that person has to be righteous enough. There's a law in there that says if you owe money, pay it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
There is a law and there is the book the law the law of the Lord in this Bible is a constitution. It is a constitution to govern the people, man.
Right.
To stop, like I said, and then there's a law in there about if if there's injustice is done like unrighteous murder. There's a law how to give the correct justice for somebody being killed in manslaughter or being murdered on cold blood or it's so many laws in there that help you rule a nation. And the wisdom is there. The wisdom is the wisdom of the Lord is what make us rule better than these other nations.
Right.
Read on. What I asked for? Read on.
And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Verse 11. For by me thy days shall be multiplied, and the years of thy life shall be increased.
Listen, man. By the Most High, our days will be multiplied, man. Listen, if people think that our people think that we'll live a long life because we eat healthy or because we're exercise. You understand what I'm saying? That's not how you live a long life. Because listen, it's the drug dealers that work out. You understand what I'm saying? They work out every day and eat healthy and eat vegan and all of that. They sell drugs, man. You understand what I'm saying? Who do you think gonna happen? One day somebody gonna come in there and either steal, rob them, kill them, or the cops gonna lock you up for life.
Right.
So your days can't be multiplied thinking like that with that ideology, man.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like our multiplication of our lifetime comes from the wisdom of the Lord, and if the Lord said, don't be a drug dealer, you ain't gonna be a drug dealer. Don't be a homosexual, you ain't gonna be a homosexual. You might not get AIDS ever.
Right.
Don't eat rats, cats, and
Right.
and snakes. You might not catch coronavirus.
Right.
Go ahead.
Also, like you said, we wouldn't even have we in real shit, we wouldn't even have a pandemic type of stuff anyway, because we ain't gonna let them even rat.
Right, like I said, when we're in rulership, nobody listen. You can cook the lo mein, you can cook the pho noodles, or you can do the rice noodles. You can cook the bok choy. You know, I like Chinese food. And some of it, I don't eat it no more because I realize that, hey, man, these heathens do be cooking them. I don't know what that meat is, man. That meat don't look right no more.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't remember when the last time I ate Chinese food, man. I would love to, but hell, in the kingdom of heaven, listen, you cooking straight, you know, lawful meats.
Right.
So that we won't have a pandemic. You understand what I'm saying? So they can still do that. They can still cook their own. So listen, we're gonna in the nation we're like, well, what do we have a taste for today? You know, let the heathens bring us something to eat. But they better not bring no rats or no snakes or nothing.
Right.
They get put to death.
Right.
That's righteous.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And then it'll help them. They won't ever have to be wearing no mask trying to cover themselves from a virus, man. You understand what I'm saying? Like the heathens, even they suffer of their own transgressions, man. And their transgression is against us.
Right.
You know? And then they don't drop that. Give me Deuteronomy.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
No, not 7 and 6. Verse Deuteronomy 4 and 6.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 6.
Go read a verse above it. Verse 5.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 5.
And we just read that the fear of the Lord is the what? Is the beginning of wisdom, man. The law of the Lord is his wisdom. That's his wisdom, man. That's all the wisdom we need is the law. Listen, like there's books in the damn library that got way more pages than the Bible. You know that, right? There's books in the library that there's books that teach you how to become rich. You know that, right? I know that there's books that teach you how to become rich, or the whole purpose of the book is to learn how to become wealthy, how to you know evade taxes legally, how to you know how to set up buy real estate, and how to get IOUs, and how to attain assets instead of liabilities, and how to invest in the stock market, and all of these instructions on how to become wealthy in the society. This book's probably, this thick on that type of stuff, right? And people read them. Right. And people don't say, "Oh, that's too hard." When you really want to do something in life, when you really want to be like, when you really have a goal and a desire for something, you'll go and do it. Right. You'll go and learn everything about getting rich. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Hold on your thought. When somebody's been, and then some of us have been so poor so long, go and read those books. Right. We never say, "Oh man, that's too hard to keep." Right. I can't keep that. If you're just lazy and slothful, you will. But if you're like, "Man, nah, man, I gotta get out of this poverty or whatever. I gotta make this money. I'm gonna go do whatever. Like if I gotta read 10,000 books, right, on how to get rich, I will." Right. There's people that do that out here. And then, and nobody complains about how hard it is, or how hard it is to read those books. You understand what I'm saying? Only when it comes to God's laws is it affirm me, my commandments are not grievous. Only when it comes to obeying God is there a problem. Only then is, oh, you can't keep all 600 and some commandments. You can't listen. Just to think about, just the fact that you want to even count them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how do you even know how many? Like, see, they're hard. How do you know how many there are? If you say it's so hard to keep, but then you went and did the math on how many commandments and laws there are, shit, then that means it's not hard then. Right. That means you could go through every one of them, practice them. That's why it's called practicing the righteous acts. That's why we have grace to practice that, to get better at keeping these commandments, to become perfect. That's right. But when it comes to that stuff, it's an excuse. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't want to have this wisdom. We don't want to have the wisdom, and we don't want to fear the Most High. Right. What you was going to say, Pelagia?
Like you said, books and stuff like that, but not even just that. We'll go to school, undergraduate, graduate school, masters. Right. We'll go to school.
Right.
15 years.
You're right.
Be a doctor.
Listen, when somebody wants to become a lawyer, man, have you ever seen a lawyer's encyclopedia shelf? Like a lawyer has to listen. A lawyer, he can never know enough. He'll go back to that. He'll pull out. It's number A through Z of laws. And listen, it's harder to keep the oppressive law. Like his justice system got more twists and turns in this Bible, man, than these laws.
Right.
He got to go and actually, he got to go pull this stick out of his shelf and look at the, what is it? What do they call it? How do they say it? Like in the case of Brown versus Board of Education, and then they read like, article this says this. They're like, how the hell did you? Yeah, like they have to really study, and then lawyers don't get no sleep at night, and they're focused and devoted to learning the law. A judge, before he's a judge, he has to know all of these. He has to know all type of law because he's a judge, right? A judge is supposed to know about the law. So how come they never say, well, it's too hard to keep? Go ahead.
About another one, like even like a mechanic, somebody know cars, they can hear something. But a doctor, you go on a doctor, you a certain car, and oh, that's something that sounds like so and so.
Because they gotta go learn 15 years education. Like a doctor that is young worries me. Like when I go to the doctor and I see a young doctor, I'm like, I don't know about him. I don't think he been. How long you been a doctor? When did you start school? I mean, you must have been one of the special cases. Like you graduated when you was 14. Like if I see a young doctor, I'm scared for my life. Figuratively. I'm not saying literally, but I mean, I'm like, damn. Like when I see an old doctor, I'm like, oh, okay. He done did 50 years of school. He's still learning. He's still going to school, man. He's still in, like that's why some of these hospitals are linked to colleges, man. Like they're linked to these big colleges because like they're medical schools. Like they can never stop learning, man. Like, but only when it comes to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments is it an issue for us. Only then it's like, oh man, no one can ever keep those. No, it's impossible not eat pork. Purposely, because sometimes in this kingdom, you know, if we got a pure heart with the Most High, and we do something uh, not on purpose, like eat pork not on purpose, then that doesn't count against you, because you wasn't trying to disobey the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? It was the oppressor had a stumbling block before you. Like you ever like when we go to the high, how the UPK be about stuff like that. Like, is it pork in it? Like did y'all clean it or well we might not even eat the food. Like I done got food and they put bacon in it, like I throw the whole shit away. And then I can't even eat it anymore. Like, buy me another one or whatever. I'll just starve for the day before I put that in my mouth. Just that's how you gotta think about everything else. Like I'll just man, if this woman wants you to sin against the Lord by sleeping with her, and he's your best friend's your brother's wife, then you rather die before you do that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like that's what Christ said to me. I'm paraphrasing, man. If an eye cause you to sin, then take it out. He was saying it metaphorically, but he meant it like that's how you gotta think. You gotta think if this hand calls you to steal or be a thief or cause you to earn, cut the goddamn hand off. And because of this, and you say, man, I'm a thief because this hand right, it just like to steal stuff. Then cut it off. You understand what I'm saying? If these feet is the cause that you sin against the Lord, cut them off. Why did Christ say that? Why did Christ say that? Why did he have to say that? Anybody? What are we talking about?
To show how important the law.
Yeah, it is. That's one reason. But why? Why did he have to be so? Why did he have to be so overboard with like? It was like if you understand Black and Hispanic talk, he was being sarcastic. You understand what I'm saying? When he said "pluck it out," like that's how Black and Hispanic people talk. Like the oppressor, or anybody hold your thought, anybody else that read that, they don't know the Bible, really takes it literally. Like, no, Christ said that, really cut your hand, like, cut your hand off. And some of them might do it because they so, like, they don't know no better. You take your eye, but you still sin. Now, listen, if you in your heart it is the sin, it don't matter what limb you, like if a thief is in his heart to be a thief and he just can't help it and he just won't, I almost gave it to you, that, why did he say it?
So I was gonna say, so you won't have any excuses.
Damn right. Because people make excuses for that, man.
Right.
Because if you really want to steal, and it don't matter if you cut your hand off, you're gonna find a way to steal, man. You're gonna
Right.
Salakia. You're gonna steal anyway.
Right.
Because it's in your heart, it's in here that you're thinking like that. It don't matter, like if you lose an eye because whatever, or a limb, and you still be a sinner, man.
Right.
Because it really ain't in your heart. It's an excuse. Because you have excuses for that. Because Christ was telling them the same thing: follow the laws, keep the commandments. My commandments are. Read that scripture from me.
God's book of 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of the Most High, that we keep His commandments.
This is how you know you love the Lord. That we what?
That we keep His commandments.
That we keep the Lord's commandments, man. It's as simple as that. Christ said it's as simple as do you love the Lord? Read on.
And His commandments are not grievous.
And His what?
And His commandments are not grievous.
His commandments are not grievous, man. All you have to do is be what? UPK, no excuses.
Right.
So they're not grievous. All you have to have is a mentality of no excuses.
Right.
They're only grievous when you have an excuse for them, man. But when you have no excuses, it's not. It's just like going to say I'm gonna get out of poverty. I'm gonna go be the best doctor, like the best doctor you can be. They made movies about that movie Men of Honor. And like in that movie, there's a portrayal of the American spirit. No excuses to become a successful American patriotic. Lose your leg and still become a Master Chief Diver. But when it comes to the Lord, listen, I'm pretty sure that's the hardest thing ever, man. When it comes to not eating pork, oh man, you can't tell Christians that.
Right.
When you tell them about not eating bacon, the Lord sanctified it. The Lord said pray over it. That's the excuse. That's the goddamn excuse. You understand what I'm saying? When it comes to smoking weed, the Lord created the plant. If the Lord didn't want to smoke it, then He wouldn't have made it. That's the excuse, man.
Right.
That's the goddamn excuse right there. You understand what I'm saying? That's the excuse. So when it comes to being righteous, it's just a ton of excuses, man. That's the hardest. That is the hardest thing in the world.
Right.
And so righteously, man. Let it be hard, then.
Right.
Let it be hard for us, so that the reward can be so much better for those who say no excuses, man.
Right.
We're just gonna go ahead and obey. We don't eat pork because we think it's nasty, because pork causes high blood pressure and it's got parasites. That ain't the reason why the UPK don't eat pork. We don't do it because pork is just. Hey, pork might be delicious. I mean, from what I remember it could be. I don't think so now. I don't think like that now. But I'm just saying, like, you remember when you ate them baby back ribs back in the day? And then the UPK don't do it for dietary reasons.
Right.
We do it because the Lord says so.
That's right.
The Lord said that to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and we won't do it.
Right.
The Lord said that to celebrate these American holidays, and we won't do it.
That's right.
The Lord said not to vote, and we won't do it.
That's right.
The Lord said not to sleep with your brother's woman, and we won't do it.
That's right.
Not to sell crack and drugs, we won't do it. Not to smoke weed, we won't do it because He says so. Right. Not for whatever reason we think we shouldn't do it, man. Like, you ever seen that movie Malcolm X? When he was explaining to that girl like how about the swine and how the swine was the filthiest animal, and how the swine would eat the dead and all of this, and that was his reason for not eating pork.
Right.
That's the other religion's reason for not doing things.
Right.
It's never because the Lord just said not to goddamn do it.
Right.
That's it. That's all obedience is.
Right.
Obedience is just second nature, first nature. Just do.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We don't.
God's book of 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. For this is the love of the Most High, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous.
They're not grievous, man. Hey, what's so hard about it? I mean, it's not. It's not grievous, man. Only if we have the mentality of no excuses, man. It's not grievous, man.
Right.
And if you have an excuse, then yeah, of course. That's because that's just who you are.
Right.
That's just what you want to be. You want to be a filthy, disgusting, whatever. Read on.
Verse 4. For whatsoever is born of the Most High overcometh the world. And this,
go ahead.
And this victory that overcometh the world, even our faith.
And that's the victory. And this what?
And this victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. Verse 5. Who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Yahushua is the Son of the Most High?
He's basically saying you overcome the world when you believe that you have received the forgiveness. If you believe that the Yahushua died for our sins, you overcome the world because you know that He died for us to have redemption, to not make excuses to keep the law.
Right.
See, before you can make excuses. You can say, man, it don't matter, man. It don't matter if we keep the law or not. The Lord already turned His back on us. You understand what I'm saying? That's the reason why some of us think that we can. Christians don't believe this, that Christ died for our sins, man, because they don't even know how that even works. Christians believe that Christ died for you to keep sinning. The religions of the earth, where they believe in that whole Christian and that whole Christ dying for our sins, believe it opposite to what it really is about. Christ died so that you couldn't have excuse no more.
Right.
To keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So that you wouldn't say it don't matter, hey, it doesn't, who's redeemed us? We're doomed anyway.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? When you're a Christian, you're basically saying that. Well, nobody's perfect, man. Christ had to die because we were not. Christ had to die so that. Okay, how they look at it is that Christ had to die because you'll never be able to keep the law. Because you'll never be able to follow the Most High's commandments. Christ had to die so that so that you can keep doing the wickedness that you're doing,
right,
without no consequence.
Right.
And that's totally wrong, man. Christ had to die because so that we wouldn't have an excuse, man.
Right.
Drop that. Give me that scripture, Isupk.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgment.
Listen, Moses said that he taught us, that the Lord told him that he taught that to teach us statutes and judgments, man. Read on.
Even as the Most High my God commanded me.
Because the Lord commanded Moses to teach the children of Israel these statutes and judgments, man. Because that's so you can rule and govern yourself, man. If you don't have these things, if you don't have a law, you don't have no structure in morality or anything. You just a what? You just an animal, man.
Right.
You just like how animals live. Like an animal eats whatever it wants to eat. An animal, gets in all type of filthiness that he wants to get. Like, an animal has no type of common sense about anything, but just the instinct of being an animal.
Right.
If you don't have no laws, statutes, or judgments, then you just be an instinctive animal. You just sleep with whatever, eat whatever, sleep wherever, do whatever. That's not a human being.
Right.
That's not what the Lord created. So the Lord said, He told Moses what? I taught you what?
I taught you statutes and judgment. Even as the Most High my God commanded me.
Because the Lord has commanded Moses to do this. Read on.
That ye should do so. In the land whether ye go to possess it.
Because when we were going to possess the land, we needed a moral compass.
Right.
We needed morality. We needed a guide. We needed to be taught wisdom, man. It takes that. That's what it takes to rule the earth. The wisdom of the Lord. Because when you possess something, you have to rule over it. And that's what the Lord has said. Listen, as a people, you're going to go possess this land, and everybody around that land, you'll be above them. And this is how you'll rule. Read on.
Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them.
Do what?
Keep therefore and do them.
Keep therefore and do them. Read on.
For this is your wisdom.
For this is what?
For this is your wisdom.
For this is what?
For this is your wisdom.
This is our wisdom. And we just read what? The fear of the Lord is what? The beginning of what? The beginning of what?
Wisdom.
And what is this? For this is what?
For this is your wisdom.
That's our wisdom, man.
Right.
Fearing the Lord is our wisdom.
Right.
And we fear the Lord by obeying Him.
That's
by
right.
being good little children, good little sons and daughters, obeying our parents, not forsaking them, honoring our father and our mother. You understand what I'm saying? Keeping His commandments, not celebrating Christmas and all these other holidays that America pushes. Like there is laws in these Bibles that go against everything that America represents, everything, and we must follow them, man. Read on.
In your understanding.
And our understanding. It's our wisdom and our understanding, man. Our forefathers got this directly from Moses, man.
Right.
They were told that this is how they will rule the earth. Read on.
In the sight of the nation.
In what?
In the sight of the nation.
In the sight of who?
In the sight of the nation.
The other nations would see us. And they would be like, read on.
Which shall hear these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Which shall what? Which shall hear?
Which shall hear all these statutes.
It was meant so that, listen, Israel was to be the example of the whole earth.
Right.
It was meant for, the Lord don't care about these other nations, right? But He wants them to be in order too.
Right.
The Lord wants these other nations to be in line too.
Right.
He just wants you to do it for Him, like for you to be the God figure on the earth. As a nation, Black and Hispanic people are supposed to be the God figures of the earth.
That's right.
And these other nations are supposed to hear these things and to say, oh, looking like, read on.
And shall say, surely this great nation.
This what?
This great nation.
Now, these bunch of wetbacks.
This great nation.
These bunch of niggas.
This great nation.
These bunch of spicks.
This great nation.
These bunch of shithole countries.
This great nation.
This what?
This great nation.
These super predators.
This great nation.
These rapists.
This great nation.
This great nation, man.
Wow.
If as a people we kept the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, then the nations would never in their mouth have even the damn audacity to say things like that to us.
Right.
Because they wouldn't have no choice.
Right.
They wouldn't have no choice but to say this what?
This great nation.
This great nation, man. Read on.
Is a wise.
It's a what?
Is a wise.
It's a wise. Read on.
And understanding people.
Man, this great nation is just the greatest thing ever happened.
That's right.
And that's what we are.
That's right.
And that's what the UPK teaches that we are.
Right.
The greatest thing that ever walked the face of the earth. Because the Lord wanted to be like that. But right now, that's not how the earth look at us right now. The earth does not look at us in that sight, in that manner. The earth look at us as super predators, rapists, drug dealers, dumb, ignorant. Go ahead,
It's a lot when we say describing themselves.
Yeah, describing themselves, of course, but because they're in power, man, and the Lord allowed them to put us and be oppressed, of course they're going to have a little leeway what they think, man. There's no white people smarter than Black and Hispanic people, man.
Right.
But it's just that our wisdom is the Lord. Where it's not our wisdom is not learning about whatever they learn in Harvard and Harvard University and what else, Yale and politics and cryptocurrencies and that's nice. We gotta use the tools that we get, but that ain't our wisdom, man.
Right.
Learning about assets and liability is not our wisdom.
Right.
And about getting rich and wealthy and money and let money work for you. And I mean, listen, all of that is just a hobby. It should be a hobby for us. All of that should be brotherhood and a real governed society where there is no famine, there is no pain, there is no war, but there's peace and righteousness rules. That has nothing to do with that.
Right.
Has nothing to do with any of that nonsense, man. That's greedy bastard type of stuff.
Right.
We're not supposed to think like that. That's not our wisdom. Our wisdom is the fear of the Lord.
Right.
The fear of the Lord. Listen, Solomon was the wisest king ever, right? Because he asked for wisdom and because he feared the Lord.
Right.
Once he decided not to obey the Lord, then what happened to him? It was shame brought to his house. You understand what I'm saying? He wasn't wise no more when he was old and senile because he decided to marry heathens and serve their gods. The Lord stripped him away from his glory, man.
Right.
And now they want to and now listen, I'm going to tell you how bad Solomon had to be stripped. They make an African, he might have not even been African, but they make another person that they recognize more than Solomon to be richer than Solomon, Mansa Musa. Who the hell is Mansa Musa, man? I'm pretty sure he might have been a historical figure, but the Bible says that Solomon was the richest king that ever, lived, on the face of the earth.
Right.
And I'm gonna believe the Bible.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But because he decided to disobey, the Lord made it to where even in the future, his name will be tarnished.
Right.
But then he also redeemed them by having, the lineage of Christ. You understand what I'm saying? Read on.
Verse 7. For what nation is there so great? Who has God so high unto them?
So what?
So high unto them.
So nigh.
So nigh.
So N-I-G-H.
Right.
What nation is what?
What nation is there so great?
Listen, man. Instead of these other, the earth looks at blacks and Hispanics like servants, man, like second class, third class citizens, man, like nothing, man. Like, are we not tired of being looked down upon, man?
Right.
We should be tired of being looked down upon, man.
Right.
And that's the thing I don't get sometimes, that the UPK teaches to uplift black and Hispanic people.
That's right.
We teach uplifting us, man. We teach that you are superior. But you hear it and like, that's hate.
Right.
You gotta love everybody. Like, damn, like, we're trying to tell you that you're supposed to be the ones ruling.
Right.
But no, that's hate, because if you rule over somebody, that means you gotta oppress them. See, people don't understand rulership. People think you have to oppress them because you've been oppressed. That's the only way you view rulership, as oppression. But that's not the case. Rulership is just rulership. Now, of course, the oppressor is going to be oppressed in the kingdom of heaven, but that's just his punishment, and the other nations too. But they'll even rejoice when we rule, and they'll say things like this instead of saying, damn, man, we don't want to be under their rulership. They're going to be like, we want to be ruled by these people,
right,
because these people are God, and so what? So what?
So great. Who has God so nigh unto them? God is so near unto them, man.
See, that's not our power. We can't serve the Lord like they do, but we'll benefit from them ruling the earth.
Right.
Like, listen, under our rulership, there's no more Palestinian and Israeli war.
Right.
Under our rulership, there's no more coronavirus diseases, man.
Right.
There's no more cancer.
Right.
There's no more, why? Because we're going to be eating lawful foods, not no processed meats all the time. And the oppressor, you know why he processes meat, right?
To preserve.
To preserve it, right? But, he's got to he's got a lot of processed meat. It's like what they call it. It's it doesn't it doesn't go well with your like your cellular on your cellular level with your body. Like if you eat too much processed meat, it'll cause your cells to malfunction because it triggers I was reading about it. It triggers a like your cells reproduce, right? And once you start feeding it something that like you're able to eat like beef or chicken, hold your thought, beef or chicken because the Lord created you so where these animals it's like I don't know how I don't know how to say it. I'm trying to say it in a way that sounds makes sense. That it makes sense. That our body is meant to eat food that's natural and lawful so that our body can work like feeding like putting the right oil in the car. Go ahead.
I think I heard somebody used to say, eat food is still living. And if you eat processed food, it's dead. And
Well, you eat a deer and it's dead.
yeah,
It's not even about that. It's more like it's not real. Like most of the food is not real. Like processed. Go ahead.
I won't say that employed to make money.
Yeah, like
Man,
okay, if you read about like if you get a processed turkey, right? It's not real. It's not really that much turkey in it. It's like a small percentage of turkey in it.
like cutting it.
Yeah, they cut it, and then the red like you see like hot dogs. You see how they make hot dogs? Like when you look at the feeling they use, like it looks like a foam. It looks like it's plastic or something. Like it's mechanic. They call it mechanically separated and uh, mechanically enhanced. Put it, the oppressor does it because there's a shortage because he has to mass produce food.
right.
He can't. That's why GMO foods are so much more expensive and because the oppressor, you know, the oppressor has exploited everything already. Like go ahead,
It's a lot. If I may.
go ahead.
They got tons of studies about like how they used to farm and feed they farming animals.
Right.
How they took like sugar because sugar was cheap.
Uh-huh.
They would feed that to the farm animals and they would see how fast they would die.
Right.
They would say sugar not good.
Right. With refined sugar, yeah.
Refined sugar.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing with the food that's
Right.
pushed in the public.
Yeah.
Like how you just say right. With processed food, with GMOs,
Yeah.
all of that.
Right.
I mean,
Now, remember you grew up on Kool-Aid
right.
because it was cheap. That's what you feed the slaves the cheap stuff. You didn't grow up on Tampico. Well, I mean, that might be cheap too. You didn't grow up on Tropicana orange juice. You know what I'm saying? You started tasting that later in life. You grew up on Kool-Aid and sugar, man. That was your juice. You grew up on purple drink. You remember that? Like we grew up on. Like I'm saying, like what I'm saying is, it's because okay, because the oppressor knows that the only people that can afford these food are the slaves.
Right.
So let them die. Like yes, because that's how the oppressor thinks, man. It's like let's get rich. We're still gonna get money off of them. That's why you get the cheap liquor. That's why we get the cheap liquor at the stores. We get the cheap cigarettes. You understand what I'm saying? It's a purpose for all of that, man. Because the righteous are not in authority, but it's supposed to be the other way around. When we rule, listen, everybody in the earth will be happy. Even the animals and the trees and the whole earth will rejoice that black and Hispanic people rule, man. Because we're not gonna do things off of greed, man. We're not gonna do things to exploit anything. Now the nations will have to serve us, man. The other nations will have to bring their rights to us. Bring the Chinese, they good rice growing and this great rice thing. And really, I don't even think Chinese really is this great rice. They get more rice from Latin America. But, whatever they produce in their land, their own land, their first food to be ours. You understand what I'm saying? And that's righteous. Because you're taking the first fruit to the kings of the earth.
Right.
And then the Lord will bless you with whatever.
Right.
And it'll be enough. It'll be enough. And you'll be happy to serve black and Hispanic people.
Right.
Go ahead.
We'll save them from themselves. Like I know
yeah.
I can't think of the name of it, but I know it's a type of sushi that has mercury in it.
Yeah, tuna. Tuna.
It's a different type of sushi.
Tuna. If you eat tuna, you about to damn lose your mind, man. If you eat tuna, you eat a ton of mercury.
Right.
Yeah, because it's what they eat tuna.
Unlawful.
It's unlawful to eat tuna, man.
Right.
So like you said, we'll save the nations from themselves. Go ahead.
But it's a type of sushi though, right?
I know seeing something about this poisonous sushi that
it's a delicacy.
Blowfish or something like that.
Nah, blowfish.
Something like that.
Hey, listen, blowfish might be lawful. But blowfish, I don't know yet. Don't take my word for it. I think blowfish has faces scale. I think so. Go ahead.
So like I think the brother was talking about they literally like play with that.
Yeah,
literally.
Enjoy it or die.
I understand what you're saying. But when it comes to mercury, it's a tuna that has a high amount of mercury, and they eat it regardless, raw tuna. And sushi is a big thing. But sushi is like the real original sushi. It's supposed to be like I believe like tuna. I believe so. Don't take my word for it, but that's what sushi is popular because of tuna. And tuna is unlawful to eat.
Right.
And everybody now is a sushi fanatic. Right. And most of it is tuna, like tuna rolls. They call it tuna rolls. And you don't know you're eating a high amounts of mercury, man. Right. Like, mercury is a very poisonous metal found in the earth. And the oppressor has polluted the ocean with mercury. The ocean is not naturally doesn't have mercury. Because mercury they use mercury for a lot of metal extraction like gold, to extract certain other alloys. Mercury is like a good bonding metal. So they like the Amazon. They were saying that a lot of people like in the South America suffer from poisoning from mercury poisoning because of gold mining. Gold mining in some of these third world countries where our people live are like dying from mercury poisoning every year because they mined gold, and the oppressor was the first one that went out there and exploited those gold mines. And of course, through time, maybe it might be even our people doing it now, but they're doing it because of hunger, man. Like and gold is paid. Gold is cheap over there. They don't sell it for a lot of money. There's other nations like the Arabs and stuff. They go to those countries and buy gold for pennies on the dollar. And our people are starving. So our people go and use hazardous materials to extract the gold and die from it, man. Because once again, the wicked rule the earth. The wicked bear rule, not the righteous. Read on. Finish reading that.
Come. As the Most High our God is in all things.
I'll read above it again. Read what nation?
Come. For what nation is there so great, who has God so nigh unto them, as the Most High our God is in all things?
And that's what the other nations would be. That's what the nations are going to see.
Right.
What nation is greater than this nation?
Right.
That the Lord is so near to him, and the Lord is in all things, man. And they're going to respect the Lord, period. They're going to respect the Lord. That's the whole point. That everybody will know that the Lord is with us, and they're going to respect the Lord, so they're going to respect His people.
Right. And
they're going to revere these people, and we're going to be the representation of the Most High on earth. Is there any more on that?
That we call upon Him for.
That's it. With that, pass the class over to priest and officer. We got over.
So Isupk security now. We had Isupk under Commander General Yahan, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means tenth in the heap. Mayah Sharah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation.
The next upcoming holy convocation is the Feast of First Fruit. That's what day is that, Kiana?
June 21st. So.
June 21st at sundown at the Durham. Well, hell, we don't know yet. Now we have a Charlotte school here soon. So man, we're giving it to Charlotte, man. We're gonna be, teaching classes out of that building real soon. But most likely it'll probably be at Durham or both. Durham and Charlotte. We'll have the address for the Charlotte school here soon.
If anyone wants to be a troop in the school, start wearing all black, boot, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, Almighty, which means everybody stand in a heap. Wapanya Akwadam, which means everybody face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in the heat. Avanah, Shabbat Shema, Badah, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Lakuka, Tavah, Batzaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barakza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemai, Athananau, Kom, Kai, Wom, Salat now, Waf now, Salat now, Waf now, Walaha, Lavya now, Manasaya Wom, Bo, Shai now, Ayan, Ra, Kayot, Lakot, Amalak, Wa'al, Watapawa, La Ulam,
Amon. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
So, to return, sisters Yashar, be seated. Men of Israel, give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Mighty Shabbat, Amani, Ra, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat. Sisters Amani, we stand. Men of Israel saw, we return. Men of Israel, give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Mighty Shabbat, Amani, Ra, Yahweh Shema Allah Hashem Yahweh Yahweh Matah,